Hello, people of YouTube, and welcome back. So, good morning to everyone. This is silly o'clock in the morning. I've just been at work for a few too many hours, and while I was there, I watched a video by Woodlin. Some crazy numbers at the end. I can't remember what they were. An old YouTuber from like days gone, when people used to take videos like this in the kitchen instead of just the game room and stuff like that. But yeah, he poses a question because he's been out collecting for a few years. He still watches a load of people and stuff like that, but he mainly just dabbles playing modern games and stuff like that. And he recently picked up a PS5. I'll link him down below. Don't worry, and you can watch the original question. See if how much I've murdered it. But yeah, he was thinking with his PS5 why people collect for it, because the games aren't on disc. So I think there was a little bit of a misnomer there. So yeah, let's get to it, and then we can go to the bit juicy bits of why do I collect for the PS4, PS5, the modern systems. So from what I believe and what I know is from experience, the games are on disc, so you can get a game. This is just an example. Just don't think of this. But yeah, like the big AAA titles are the ones where you're probably going to be having the most trouble with in the future. So games like Horizon Zero Dawn and stuff like that, Call of Duty and stuff like that. If you're playing it offline, because there is obviously the campaign and stuff, a lot of them require day one patches. Like as soon as you bought the game, it's already obsolete in a certain sense. However, I have played a couple of games without actually downloading any patches, mainly because I couldn't wait any longer. One of them was Horizon Zero Dawn, the second one. And the reason why it took so long just to get it off disc onto the hard drive, I just couldn't wait any longer. I just wanted to play it. That's because the game actually came over at two discs. It had like a game disc and it had a data disc. So I think you put the data disc in first, then you put the game disc, which had more assets or whatever technical stuff, and it merged it all together. And then it was like, well, we need the new patch to make it playable. So I well, not playable, but yeah, better, more accurate, more. I'm trying to think of a word, but it's too early in the morning. But yeah, basically, I played it and I didn't find any problems with it. To be honest, it was very playable. I mean, I'm sure there was certain things that they would have liked to just tune up. Is probably the best word for it. Tune up and make it a bit better. And while developers have got the options to do so, why not? However, certain games do rush to the mark. Now, I think the one that I know the most, where it's really completely different, is I think it was Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5 on the PS4. I believe it was like a 4 gig game on disc, but it needed that much of an overhaul. It was basically you was downloading a whole new game again. So you've got the game on disc, which is completely unplayable, and I think the patch was like 6 gig or something. It was like the game and a half again, basically, which was quite crazy, really, because in that point, what you're buying isn't on disc. So yeah. If that's the point, if these are all factors, why do I collect? I suppose because yeah, it seems a bit silly that I'm buying a game that I might not be able to play in the future. Well, that is correct. But why do we collect anything? We're all a little bit mad, and we've all probably got a bit of an addiction somewhere, and that's where it all stems from, really, isn't it? So let's go back even further, I suppose. Why do I get the games from modern consoles? That is to play them. I'm hopeful. I put myself. I can remember YouTube ages ago when people used to do these videos in the kitchens. People used to have like a little meter. Are you a gamer or are you a collector? And then you had to put yourself in the middle. I see myself as a gamer, but obviously my game room upstairs tells you a different story, because obviously I'm buying the games to put on my shelf, but the reason why they come through the room is to play. Like, I bought this game to play, I wanted to play it. However, my eyes are too big for my belly. I buy too many games, and then that becomes the collection. So I've talked about this a few times. Not sure if I've talked about it on YouTube or whatever, but basically I see myself with these modern collections as a bit stupid. we are. There's a lot of people buy games on YouTube and then they sell them and they rebuy them again, and people see them as being the stupid people. Not stupid, but they don't understand it. But we are a small subsect in gaming who buy all these games and put them on the shelves. The majority of them are all bloody buying the games, playing them, and then reselling them on to CEX. And then you go into that loop of buy, play, sell. And then you've got a lot better life ahead of you, instead of worrying about how everything is upstairs and everything like that. But it's madness, really. We call it hoarding. Is it hoarding? No, I think for me, it's a little bit of an addiction. I have a very addictive personality. Before I started collecting video games, I've always had lots of stuff going on. Let's just say lifestyle choices, other types of addictions. Like I when I used to do music and stuff like that, like everything was addicted to me. I always had to know this, that, and other. I need to know everything, and I've just transferred that into video games. It's, to be honest, for me, it's probably the most healthiest way of tackling my addictions. But that's not the reason why. It's just, if it's not this, it'll be something else with me. And I've been doing it for this long now. I'm kind of like, this is who I am, and it is because, like I say, the reason, I don't know if I've answered the question of why I collect. So as well, I'm just going to throw another little tangent here as well. A lot of limited companies, I know they say a lot of the games, they're like, a lot of them, the reason why they exist was because they was like, oh yeah, no patches on disc. It will be everything. It will be there as a game, and that's why a lot of the games do take longer to come out. But there is the odd occurrence that they do have a DLC later along the line. So does that make them collectible, or are we all just a little bit stupid? Now, yeah, again, I think it's more the stupid. I think us people who like to put these on the shelf and then forget about them, we are the stupid people. We should be swapping them as much as possible. But there is something to be said about, again, nostalgia. I mean, it's like current nostalgia. I will play a game and I'll enjoy it so much, I'll put it on the shelf, and then in the future I can come back to it and go, oh, can remember when I played that game? It was either good, bad, or anything. Because nostalgia doesn't have to be all positive. Nostalgia just has to be something that you remember. And sometimes you can go, when you've got a collection as big as mine, oh, can you remember that game? I never got around to playing that, and I either play it and then it probably doesn't work or whatever. But it's like, what, like collecting modern, why is it any different than collecting retro? How many people have got a massive retro collection, and yes, all them games have got no patches on, they should work straight off the bat if everything works well and the media itself hasn't corrupted of any kind. But how many people, even their favourite games, once they've bought it, put it on the shelf, how many of them are going to be playing that in the future? Honestly, put yourself in that little thing I mentioned earlier. Are you a collector? Are you a gamer? And I would say most people buy these games and then they'll put them on the shelf and forget about them. And it's because we enjoy the outer packaging. Now, the outer packaging on PlayStation 4 games, I'm going to address it now because people will be like, well, this is the worst it's ever been. And it is correct. There is so much better collectible items, like nice, looking for nice cardboard for retro Nintendo and stuff like that. That's obviously the better way to do it, isn't it? But I like to have everything. I like to have both. I like to have my retro to have a nice little visual, but I also like my PlayStation 4 games. There's something for me about all blue spines all lining up, quite colourful. And again, I'm not meaning to have a big collection. I'm really not. Like I say, I mean, we've all been guilty of buying games purposely to make numbers up. But my collection, because I'm quite eclectic in my gaming. I like AAA games. I like retro games, like point and clicks. I like shooters. My collecting is huge, and my eyes are too big for my belly. Basically, I'll buy all these games in the good intentions to play them, and then it just becomes a massive collection by accident. Whereas, like, I suppose my retro collecting is I'm going for shooters, so it's kind of like a subset. But I have that with PS4, and if these all decided not to work one day, am I going to feel bad? In some ways, yes, because I want to play the games, so it would be nice to be able to play the games. But I think it's going to be if you're worried about the games not working in the future, there's one good thing to do: play them there and then. And I think it's going to be more the AAA budget games, the ones that are going to be like huge files that you're going to have to worry about, because games that are like sort of smaller and indie in budget, they can't afford to have the luxury of getting all the updates and everything like that. I think, if I remember correctly, I think games are allowed one update for free, and then they have to pay for all subsequent updates. I did watch some documentary ages ago about how updates work and stuff like that. So, I mean, things might have changed, I don't know. But basically, the more bigger a studio you are, you're more likely to have the luxury of being able to update a game more regular. Whereas smaller companies like whoever did this, I don't actually know, Assemble, they're not gonna update that much. So if you're worried about games not working in the future, play all the big budget games first, and then keep your little budget games to the end, because they're more likely not to need an update in the future. Yeah, sorry about that, Woodlin. I don't know if I've answered your question because I'm knackered. I'm going to go to bed now. So, yeah, go watch it. If you've not seen his video channel, go watch it. He's a very witty guy, is the best way to say. I do like watching his streams from time to time. When I do watch streams, I probably watch his more than his and Retro Tuner are probably the only two people I actually watch live streams of. Anyway, I'm waffling now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.